Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Paul's Cinema Picks of the Week. And I am your gracious and humble host, Paul Westbrook. Today we're going to be talking about, we're going to do a series on, 1970s TV series. And the first one that I'm going to start with is the classic Wonder Woman TV series, which was in the 1970s and starred Linda Carter as the comic book heroine. And this is a complete collection. It has all three seasons of the movie because the show went for 3 seasons, and of course it has your special features. In fact, it says there's bonus features on here. You got the pilot movie. You've got every episode from season 1, which started off with Wonder Woman in the time of World War II, and then later it moved into the 1970s for the other 2 seasons. Now, I like the first season because, like I said, in the comics they dealt with Wonder Woman during the time of the Second World War. The First World War was the one they did for the movie with Gal Gadot. But in this one here, it was World War II, and Wonder Woman was mostly fighting like the Nazis, and Colonel Steve Trevor was helping her. And when they moved into season 2, they decided, okay, they're not going to do the war theme anymore, so they went to more of the contemporary 1970s, the disco era. And the villains became a little more sophisticated as they went along. You got some villains, like mostly these spies, and because Diana Prince worked with the IADC, which was a government agency, and they go out and they solve all these crimes. And Wonder Woman, Diana, she would, as in the first season, she was always there to stop the crimes, no matter how dangerous the opponent was. But yeah, I found that when it moved into the 1970s, it wasn't quite the same. Like, it was more against the, the familiarity of the comic book, because the comic book, I always believed that it was in the First or Second World War, and I thought Wonder Woman was more suited for that time period. But given that the movie, the TV series anyway, was in the 1970s, they decided just to move it to more disco type, and you had villains like a rock star who hypnotizes this group of people that admire him, and you get my favorite villain in the second season was Mariposa, and he's played by the late Henry Gibson. He was sabotaging an Olympics, and I thought he was one of the more devious villain types of the series. And season 3, of course, you get to see Wonder Woman dressed in her diving suit, which really wasn't really like the comic books at all. Like, she had this blue spandex type suit that went all over her body and stuff, and it was I just didn't find it as, relating to the comic book the same as I did like for the 1970s. But speaking of movies in the 1970s, even though Wonder Woman, the TV series, was the most popular one, it actually started with a series. I think it was made in 74, 75. There was a movie, a made-for-TV movie starring Kathy Lee Crosby, and her costume was totally different altogether. And when they did the TV series here, they decided to put Wonder Woman as more like what she would look like in the comics. And the late Cloris Leachman actually plays Diana's mother in the pilot episode. You have Red Buttons, the comedian. He's actually turns out to be a bad guy. And you get, and like I said, it's mostly, a lot of the series in the 70s had the superheroes taking on just ordinary criminals. You know, there would be criminals, power-hungry scheme to take over the world, and you had those type of villains as opposed to the familiar ones that you would have in the comic book. Because a lot of the superheroes didn't really face their comic book villains like they do nowadays. No, in the 70s, you just had Wonder Woman against these corrupt officials, or you had them against these thugs, people trying to take money, people trying to kidnap, and these kidnappers, or you get people trying, like I said, sabotaging world events, stuff like that. And then like I said, season 1 you had her against the Nazis. Had her against the Nazis and Hitler, who I think made an appearance. I'm not sure if it was the 4th or 5th episode, but you had Wonder Woman against Hitler, and even Wonder Woman against Wonder Woman in one of the episodes too, which is another episode I liked in this series. But yeah, if you were a fan of the TV series, I would strongly recommend to get this one here, the complete collection, all of Wonder Woman's adventures, all at once, and there were 59 episodes, and that includes the pilot episodes, which brings it to about 60. And you got 11 discs, and you get your fabulous featurettes. You got 3 of them. You got Beauty, Brawn, and Bulletproof Bracelets, a Wonder Woman retrospective of the series, revolutionizing a classic from comic book to television, and Wonder Woman, the ultimate feminist icon. So, that is your episode there on Wonder Woman, the complete season and complete collection. And I'm Paul Westbrook, reminding you to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section below the video here, so that way we can read them. And Paul Westbrook saying goodbye for now, and I'll be seeing you at the movies.